Now that we've beaten Reach with only UNSC weapons, let's move on to the next game in the MCC, Halo Combat Evolved. This game, more so than any other in my opinion, is balanced around you using plasma weapons at all times in combination with human weapons to finish off shieldless foes. So let's eliminate half the sandbox again. Quick reminder of the rules. Number 1, I cannot damage enemies with weapons belonging to non-UNSC factions. While I can hold and appreciate, I cannot use. There's no major skips or glitches allowed unless absolutely necessary. However, running past enemies is a viable strategy. And number 3, no skulls except for foreign were applicable, such as in this game, Halo Combat Evolved, so as such I've toggled it on. Let's hop into Pillar of Autumn. Waking up after a long night in the drunk tank, we stumble our way over to Captain Keyes and receive the Magnum. I decide to wait a little sec in the bridge, as if you leave too quickly you skip the trigger that gives you Magnum ammo, and we kinda need the Magnum. It's our DMR of this game, the carry to end all carries. Until we get a shotgun. The main difference between this and the DMR, however, is accuracy. The Magnum struggles to make its target sometimes, making it frustrating to use at range from time to time. But its utility outweighs this weakness, and we'll be abusing its power whenever we get the chance. We also get the assault rifle here, our budget plasma pistol for the challenge. It's actually not too bad for the most part. It deals with blue elite shields kinda quickly, and also deals with grunt squads really well. This arsenal is enough to pull us through the first couple of missions, but we're gonna need some more firepower soon. Pillar of Autumn as a level is standard affair, minus the plasma pistol. I made the decision to run through the cafe to skip this fight here. I took the first right and bolted on through, spraying the AR at whoever was in front of me to clear a path. I did have to smack an elite, but I got through and grabbed the health pack on the way out. While I can also run past the airlock encounter, I decided to take some time to clear out to grab an overshield. I managed to scrunch some frags from dead marines, so I used them both here to clear out this hallway in a safe manner and push on through again. I wish I saved one, however, as this tight encounter before the second airlock was primed to give me trouble, but I picked away at them with the Magnum and got it done. As much as I was dreading the encounter outside the second airlock, everyone just kinda stood there and let me plink plonk them away with the Magnum. You'd think an encounter with 4 elites would be rougher, but oh well. I get an overshield for my efforts. The stair encounter was another one I was scared for, but with my overshield, I rushed the spawns down bottom and finished them off quickly, then picked away at all the elites up top. I managed to keep all my health here thankfully, but no overshield, so I felt kinda naked. But the rest of this level was kinda simple. AR the elite shields, pop their heads with the Magnum, and throw nades when I have them. But that's Pillar of Autumn done in 13 minutes and 1 second, which is only 16 seconds quicker than when Frog Arcus and I did Lasso. Watch that video. I begin Halo by crossing the bridge. This spawns in a couple Covenant squads, as well as a few Banshees to ambush you. Luckily, by sitting back, I can pick one of the Banshees off with my Magnum because for some reason, this little pistol is an amazing anti-vehicle weapon when there's no rockets around. Another good thing to note here was that you only actually have to kill one of the Banshees. The other will fly away once you destroy one of them. The squad up ahead was pretty rough, but I leveraged the rocks as cover and slowly picked away at whatever was in front of me. I sat back once again and picked off everything at the initial dropship clear, before rushing in and bursting down the stragglers with my AR. Since I don't have any stickies, I decided it was best to sit on top of the structure and play defensively against the incoming dropships. This is probably the hardest part of the mission. You're wide open, and since you don't have a plasma pistol, it's easy to get surrounded and overwhelmed. The Magnum's lack of accuracy as well doesn't help. I end up having to make a risky play here as to not get overwhelmed. The 4th and 5th dropships were well on their way, while I had 2 elites banging on my back door, so I had to throw a frag and burst them down ASAP. I lost some health but regained some ground in doing so. I was immediately rushed after this, getting dropped down to 1 red health by a red elite that was occupying the structure with me. I rushed him without realising his whole squad was sitting on the ramp waiting for me. That was the first death of the challenge, by the way. I got put into a really disastrous position once again, hiding behind this box with dwindling Magnum reserves, and 2 elites eagerly waiting to pounce on me. What was I to do? That's what I was to do. There was one more blue elite down below, but he was easy AR prey, and that was this encounter. In the tunnel with the light bridge, I made the call to hop on the hood of the Warthog and climb up to the button. My ammo was low and quite frankly, I don't have enough to handle all the enemies here. At this first light bolt, we found a sniper rifle. The 3rd of the 5 weapons we're going to have access to. This is a massive upgrade over the Reach sniper rifle as it can actually kill elites in a timely manner. Blue elites need 1 headshot, and red elites can take 2, but that's better than the 3+ for most of Reach's elites. With this alongside the Magnum, we're a ranged monster. The Magnum can deal with the smaller units, while the Sniper can decimate larger targets. Since it's been a while since I last played this level casually, I decided to try and save my Marines instead of killing them. See, I speedrun this game, and I'm used to just murdering them in cold blood and then moving on. But in this playthrough, I decided it best to clear the areas if I could. The first area, Cliffs, wasn't too rough. There's no reinforcement waves, so I can just make my way around the Forerunner structure and deal with whatever I find. I cleared it rather quickly, then moved into rubble. The Marines down the bottom were sitting ducks, but the Sniper Marines eye up top fared just fine. There's a ton of dropships coming in, but between my Sniper and Magnum and the power of the Sniper Marines, We dealt with them in a timely manner and it's off the river to finish the mission. I sat at the entrance and picked off what I could till I ran out of sniper ammo, then moved up top. I positioned my Warthog so the gunner had an angle and then topped up my sniper rifle for the final holdout. Thanks to holding out at the start, I really only had one dropship to deal with, which only had a couple of elites and some grunts. But that's Halo done. We can move on to what I thought would be the hardest mission in the challenge. I see a lot of talk about this mission being too hard because the game doesn't give you a magnum, and honestly, I do not get it. In its place, you have a sniper rifle, a power weapon with near infinite ammo between the hundreds of caches the game gives you. Just take the level slow and it won't do you much harm, I promise. The first encounter is easy enough, however. I picked off the elites first, then made my way around to the right to deal with the straggler grunts and jackals. I got down to 1 red here, which made my life a little harder in the next area. Once here though, I sniped the jackal first and then played defensively against whatever pushed me. The marines actually pulled their weight this time, helping take care of a pushing red elite and the grunts up on the ridge too. Third encounter was a tad more involved since I planned to clear the whole thing so I had more marines for the lift fight. I moved around to the left as Cortana instructed, but first I waited for a shot on this elite here. Then I shifted around and got into a good spot to clear out the rest of the zone ahead of the dropship coming in. There's only one elite and a bunch of grunts so it's easy to deal with, meaning Foehammer can drop in more reinforcements. Once they dropped in, I grabbed the hidden camo power up and then walked through and backsmacked what I could before it ran out. This let Foehammer drop in even more reinforcements ahead of the lift fight. Thanks to how many marines I had on the map, this fight was stupid easy. I tried to time frags for when the waves came in to save some time and headache, but I'm bad so I had to do the fight the old fashioned way. After the 8th wave, a 9th and harder wave spawns in with 2 hunters. The belly fight isn't too rough. On Legendary there's 10 waves and each is randomly composed of grunts, jackals and gold sword elites. It can be rough, but if you play kinda aggressive here, you can take them out before they become an issue. Again, this section really isn't difficult. In fact, this is the last wave. I did it first try. Oh, for fuck. There we go. All waves dead. Oh no. Hunters. I grabbed another hidden camel power up and then proceeded forward again. I got super lucky with a sleeping grunt by a door I can use to bypass this encounter, so I stocked up on sniper ammo and frags before heading into the hangar bay. This is another rough encounter. The hangar is massive and there's enemies surrounding you everywhere, up top and on your level. A few waves also spawn out some of the doors, including where you came from. Once you've killed enough, however, the game ramps up the difficulty once again and spawns in more hunters. The hunter's gone, I can grab an overshield and then move upwards towards the prison bay. There's not much to say here. You just clear corridors and make sure you deal with the waves that spawn behind you as well. The bridge clear isn't too bad either. I found the gold sword elite won't push till everything else is dead, so I leveraged that to deal with what I could from a distance and then dumped loads of lead into his face before he rushes me. Clearing more hallways, I just bursted everything down with the AR until I hit the first prison bay. There's a hidden health pack and another camo which I grabbed to let me backsmack everything guarding Keys. Even the Keys rescue isn't too bad as long as you stay ahead of him. He has a nasty habit of throwing frags at his feet and deleting his own Minecraft save, so make sure you stay ahead of him so he doesn't see any enemies. Since I speedrun this game, I usually do a grenade jump in the hangar to break the triggers so the level ends early, but this time I actually need to fight my way back. To make this easier, I sat at the back of the room so the grunts that spawn won't insta-kill Keys, and then pushed out to the hangar again in order to end the level. Not too bad. The next few levels are a heck of a lot easier than everything that's came before. Silent Cartographer opens with a huge beach fight which we're going to ignore and walk away from. Since there's nothing stopping you from going to the second facility, you can just wander up there immediately. There's a ton of jackals guarding this area though, so one frag out and they're all done for. Loadout wise, we're back to the Halo special with the AR and Magnum, but these are enough to deal with what's in front of us. Once we hit this clearing though, the game throws 2 massive hunters at us to serve as roadblocks. Heading into the facility, we had a small encounter here, but I had an overshield so it was pretty easy. Then I had to deal with more hunters. After pressing the button, a bunch of stealth elites will ambush us, but since they've got no shields, they're easy kills. Once outdoors, we'll see a crashed pelican on the beach which we want to clear out of all the Covenant. Not only does this give us more Magnum ammo, but grants us access to the 4th of 5 available weapons, the rocket launcher. I dropped my AR for this, as I thought it would be better for clearing groups and popping shields. Cortana pitches this weapon as an anti-hunter weapon, but we won't be wasting rockets on hunters. Honestly, the rocket is very mid in this game, but it does have its uses. I cleared the top area of the facility, then slowly made my way down. The rocket proved itself very useful for me, serving as an AoE shield remover, since the rooms here are really cramped. But since there's no rocket refills, I had to be very careful with where and how I placed my shots. The second floor had more hunters to make the area more difficult for me. After pressing the button, I collected my overshield and worked my way up and around to grab the active camo so I could skirt past a few encounters. Up top my camo ran out, so I had to fight my way out, including this gold sword elite at the door who tanked my last rocket and then a ton of Magnum shots. Up top more stealth elites ambushed me, but I dealt with them and then ended the level. This was a really nice break from the last 2 levels. The next one is a lot longer, however, but that doesn't mean it's harder. This level's intro gave me some trouble. We only have an assault rifle and a magnum with very limited ammo, and there's a ton of enemies between us and the next cache. The first room is packed, and clearing it took a heck of a lot of ammo. The first bridge was also an issue. Against my better judgment, I dumped precious magnum ammo into the Banshee before heading on forwards. The gold swordlet here was an issue. I ended up having to use the geometry to put distance between us so I could spray down his shields and finish him off. Thankfully, this gives me access to an ammo cache, ending our ammo shortage. Thankfully, we won't hit another drought like this. Oh yeah, there's also hunters. We head down the elevator and outside into the canyon. There's another cache here with rockets and snipers, so I grabbed both and cleared out the area, sniping some jackals and then dumping a rocket into the ghost. I dropped the rockets for a magnum and then drove past the Wraith to the tank section. While Reach's tank is phenomenal, the CE tank isn't. The cannon is completely inaccurate, taking your reticle position as a suggestion, while the machine gun is about as impotent as the assault rifle. If anything, the tank just makes you a larger target. At least this Banshee sat still for me though. Inside the hallway, I got out and started sniping since it's a heck of a lot more accurate and does more damage than the tank. I really didn't need to worry about ammo here as there's a huge cache to the right as you go in. With the coast clear, I drove over the bridge and continued outside. This section took me a long time since this clunky mess made me easy picking for the Covenant. In no universe should a tank lose to jackals and elites on foot, but this is Halo Combat Evolved. The section comes to an end though, and there's a hidden camo we can use to skip past the next outdoor section and back into the hallways. Sniper and magnum in hand, I pushed on through the wave after wave of Covenant. Out on the bridge, I did a minor skip here where I jumped on the glass and then hopped to the other side. This skips some combat and saves me a ton of ammo. And since this skips 0 triggers, I count it as a fair skip. Out of magnum ammo in the stealth loot room, I just had to dump my snipes them and hope for the best. There's another cache here though, but it's guarded by some hunters. Back outside again in the canyon, I took some pot shots at the elites in hopes that we could get a Banshee early, but no such luck. I picked away at the Banshees though, dumping a ton of magnum ammo shots to clear the way, so I had no distractions in taking out these difficult hunters. Nothing really of note happens here until we get back outside. The structure we need to climb is guarded by even more dangerous hunters. Despite the Wraith pounding me from below, I pushed up further and further, dumping snipes into elites and pistol whipping anything else that dare stands in my way. The final elite posed no threat, for he has a sword and I have the high ground. One last little walk and the level is done. Let's go meet the Flood. Despite the foreign skull, we still spawn with 4 plasma nades, which I threw into the ether. I'm going to keep this level brief as we all know how it goes. We head in, meet the Flood, then work our way out. The main thing about this level though is we're introduced to the workhorse that is the shotgun. Weapon 5 out of 5 we have access to, as well as being 5 out of 5 in terms of usefulness. It does so much damage. It even has more range than you think it does. It's just so freaking good. Against Hunter, against shields, against anything you could throw at it, the shotgun can do it. In terms of the mission, it's in, out, shake it all about. You enter the structure, then you leave. That's it. Easy level. The next one isn't though. Let's go. Priority 1 is to find a shotgun Flood and grab it. Since I'm in no rush, I took my time to slowly pick away at the opening encounters here. I need to hoard as much shotgun ammo as I can, so I take some time to thin the enemy so I can scavenge as much as I can. The first door opens and I bolt left immediately. There's a hidden health pack and another shotgun over here I can grab to make the next few areas a lot easier. As the encounter starts, I throw a frag against this wall to kill the Flood hiding around the corner. From here, I can duck a weave around the cover to get past them. The next area was a tad harder to heal though. I jumped down to grab the overshield and nade jumped back up so I could keep it for a little bit of the run. There's more ducking and weaving and a frag on top of a group of Flood waiting to ambush me here. At the end, I can throw another frag to kill the group of Flood before the elevator and we're clear. The mission gets a lot easier from here, trust me. At the first door here, there's a safe spot we can sit where nothing can spawn. It's nice to get a breather after the first floor of hell. After the door opens, we can skirt around to the sides here to skip a ton of enemies and safely make it to the next door. While we could in theory nade jump through here, I want to keep my nades and my health. And plus, the only enemies that push me here are infection forms. Moving on, we can throw another frag on top of the enemies who push up the ramp to take them out easily, and coming out the tunnel at the other end is a case of shotgunning anything that pushes me. Rocket hallway is easy enough, as we can ambush him before he has the chance to lock onto us. I did consider grabbing his rockets, but honestly my magnum is far more valuable. Another duck and weave session, that's us, we're free. Second floor done. Third floor starts again with a tiny hallway clear, and then leads into another door waiting encounter. I gotta love it. We get pushed by a ton of carriers here and they're easy to take care of and help crowd control the combat forms. Eventually it's just me and the popcorn waiting for the door. And once again it opens and we can skirt around the sides here to avoid more encounters. There is an ambush here, but I can just throw a frag and kill him. There's also a minor skip here where if you jump around this thing here in such a way, you'll skip a trigger that spawns some of the Flood here, making traversal a hell of a lot easier. We push onwards to the 90 seconds door and then wait again. After this it's a mad dash to get to the elevator once again. One more floor. Floor 4 is another mad dash to another door that we have to wait for. And again, another mad dash. The ending section here is rough. Usually I'd nade jump through as it opens to skip the massive fight here, but this would be against my rules, so instead I just have to manage the horde. I was out of frags here, which was going to pose a massive issue. I shotgunned those who fell down, and luckily got a frag drop that I threw instantly as the door opened, and then backpedaled to draw the flood towards me into a tighter area. Pushing back out, I shot the flood up high and fragged a group hidden to the right, before once again skirting around the side and bolting to the elevator to grab the index and get the frick out of there. That wasn't all that rough, I'm gonna be honest, but the next level... Thanks to Foreign, we don't spawn with a plasma pistol, making these first sentinels a little bit more of a pain. Thankfully, I can shotgun them down without losing too much health. In the next encounter, I let the Covenant take out the Sentinels before pushing in and killing the Elite. The next wave is tied to all but one of the Covenant here dying, so if we kill this Elite, we can scatter the Grunts and not have to kill them. Once we open the door, it's going to be rough. We only have a shotgun still, so we have to get up close and personal. Once the opening is clear, I can head up top and grab both a Magnum and a Sniper. I throw the Magnum off the edge so I can keep the shotgun too. I dump all the Sniper ammo into any Elites I can see to clear a path. Then I grab my Magnum and make my way down. Getting into the Banshee was rough. I spent way too long trying different strats, wasting my limited rockets on the Gold Elite here before I decided to just reset and YOLO it. I fell down the right side here and then walked wide in such a way that I wouldn't get spotted by the Wraith or any of the enemies. This worked thankfully and we were off to the races. First generator popped. Let's move on. Before proceeding, I did go back down to collect the rockets off to the side. We are gonna need them. This level is packed with enemies, far more than it ever needed. The rockets come in very handy with clearing us a path and the shotgun can finish off everything else. Bridge 1 is easy enough, shotgun anything in front of me and run past the rest. This posed an issue though. We're coming up to the Hell Room. It's packed with flood everywhere and I only have 9 shotgun shells and 1 rocket. Time to get creative. I funneled as many back to the engines as I could so I could use that last rocket well and finish off the rest. Since I was out of rockets, I made the switch to a Magnum here, but I didn't have it for long as I grabbed the rocket from the flood here. Bridge 2 is where it gets rough. 3 rocket flood and 2 banshees. This is gonna suck. It did take a lot of tries but we got there. I decided eventually to just YOLO across. I threw 2 nades immediately to try and take out the rocket flood and then held W as hard as I could, shotgunning anything in front of me until I finally broke through. Once on the floor of the canyon, my first priority was to get to the cache right below me. The cache is hidden down here and has a ton of rockets and shotgun ammo that we are going to need. From here we can ghost on down to the Banshee and then up to the generator. I slowly cleared out this room here before popping the generator. The room fills with flood after, but I have a plan. Let's head onwards. Thanks to the cache I got earlier, I have near enough full ammo, making the last little stroll here nice and easy. Once outside, I did sit back to fire rockets at the Covenant position, so I had a clearer run up to the Ghost. Then it was full send up to the Banshee. I want this level done with. We fly up, activate the generator, and end the level. We are so close. Let's get a move on. Not gonna lie, I hate this level, so let's just get through this. Opening the level, I just have an AR, so priority 1 is to go find a shotgun. I grabbed one plus the hidden camo, then plunged into the deep. The outdoor section took me a little while, but after some running through and tactical sniping, we got there. The elevator was maybe the hardest part. Eventually I brute forced it and got back into the ship at long last. We work our way through the ship once again, shotgunning absolutely anything in my path, and running past anything else I don't have to kill. Once in the keys room, we can fight through this horde here and then trigger the unskippable cutscene. Sorry, have I skimmed through this level too quick? That's because I don't like it. In the speedrun, we skip this level with a bump for a reason. When the cutscene is done, I beeline to the door and then throw a distraction nade so I can skirt past the enemies and back into the hangar. From here, we do another jump down and wait for the banshees. Since I had a lot of health left, I could just jump down and get in to end the level. Yeah, I did skim over this one, but there's really not much to say. I don't like this level. Homestretch. We start this level with an AR, but that honestly won't do. I need a shotgun. Once the door gets knocked down, I toss a frag in and get my hands dirty with the shotgun. Once the hunter bashes the door, I get a quick shot on him before heading through the cafe and onto the bridge. This clear here is easy enough, and once we press the button, it's back out again and towards the engine room. This room full of flood here can get filtered through this choke point here and murdered, and then the cryo room is easy to get through with this little jump here. The OS here is important, so let's push on through and deal with this next encounter before we stock up on rockets for the reactor room. We want to kill the reactors ASAP, which is important so we're not in one place for too long. This room has infinite spawns that ramp up the longer you're here, and it's so easy it gets swarmed by both sentinels and flood. Thankfully, by crossing from one side to the other, it will despawn all the enemies on one side, which is an easy way to control the crowd here. Once all 4 reactors are dead, we're off. Let's get off the ring. We grab our Warthog and hit the throttle, weaving past all obstacles in my way and taking every shortcut I can see. I got flipped at one point, but I got back on the horse and onwards. I did drive straight past Foehammer's death, but I went to say hello to a little someone.
Good thing that food nipple's waiting for me at the starship, cause man, if I worked up a big, crunchy thirst.
I know I said I wasn't going to do any major skips, but I really can't help myself. Almost perfect. One last drive up and I decide to squeeze my Warthog through the barrels and onwards to the end. And thus, the game has been beaten on Legendary without any Covenant weapons at all. 2 games out of 6 beaten. 4 to go. I'm going to be real, Halo 2 is not going to be next. It's going to be a rough one, so I'll maybe save that for the end. I think it's doable though, but I'm going to have to get creative. So next up is going to be Halo 3. Thanks for watching the video though. If you liked it, remember to leave a like and subscribe. And a huge shout out to all the channel members. Becoming a channel member is the best way to support what I do. If you want more Halo CE content, consider watching how Frog Archist and I overcame Lasso together. Have a good one. See you later.